Another monster storm approaches the U.S. A federal program hurricane victims count on is running out of money.
Sabrina Wilson explains.
As Floridians prepare for Hurricane Milton, a Cat 5 on the heels of Helene, the U.S. Small Business Administration is low on funds.
People are hurting and they require funds and they require their Congress to be in session to do that.
The intensity, probably attributed to global climate change, is much more wicked.
President Biden sent this letter to Congress Friday saying most urgently the Small Business Administration's disaster loan program will run out of funding in a matter of weeks and well before the Congress is planning to reconvene. I warned the Congress of this potential shortfall even before Hurricane Helene landed on America's shores. I requested more funding for SBA multiple times over the past several months. Democratic Congressman Troy Carter of New Orleans says,
The president's letter to the leadership of the House is very appropriate. We passed a temporary measure, a CR, that will only give us 90 days to pass a budget that would restore our disaster relief funds.
Louisiana's Republican U.S. Senator Bill Cassidy wasn't available for an on-camera interview, but said Americans should always help Americans. We must ensure that FEMA and SBA have the resources to respond to Hurricanes Milton, Helene, and Francine. I support additional resources to advance that effort. Dr. Rebecca Rouse, Associate Program Director for Tulane's Emergency and Security Studies and Professor of Practice, also worked for FEMA.
So I would say that Florida is pretty good at preparing, responding, and recovering from. But then you have Helene, and just a short time later, you're going to have Milton, and you still have the debris that has been piling up.
For its part, FEMA says
we have the resources we need for both Helene and Milton.
Still, Biden's letter says FEMA's disaster relief fund faces a shortfall at the end of the year.
Storms don't care what party or what affiliation you may be. They hit wherever people are. And so we should treat it as an absolutely bipartisan issue.
And now you had Helene, who devastated states that don't normally suffer so egregiously from a hurricane.
Now, the National Flood Insurance Program was to expire at the end of September, but Congress reauthorized it until December 20th of this year.
We also have to reform it because we know that risk rating 2.0 is a flawed policy.
U.S. Senator John Kennedy's office said he wasn't available for an interview today.